Yeah, I will have to go look for that. Okay. I was going to remind you to do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Nobody commented saying that they're new, so you guys know the drill. So we're just going to jump right in. So the first one, and Christina, kudos to her. Thank you so much for helping come up with these topics this week. You guys, I was telling her I've hit like in these last few days like a content like a creative block. That's what I'm going to call it. Like I've just kind of like hit a wall and I'm like, Christina, help. So she came up with most of these. So the biggest flex this week, and again, as always, it's going to be business or products, whatever direction you want to take. Personally, I like to go back and forth between promoters and customers. And I think I've told you guys this before, and this is just a personal thing. It's what works for me. It doesn't mean that you need to do it. There's more than one way to get to Walmart, right? My way is not the only way. Um, for me, I feel like if I focus on the promoter side for 1 week and then the customer side for 1 week, if somebody is interested in the business and I'm talking about the business that week, I'm going to have their attention every single day. Versus if someone's only interested in being a customer, but one day I have their attention with a product post and then the next I'm talking about the business, I've lost their attention. So personally for me, and I think Christina does the same thing, I really like to focus and be intentional with where my focus goes. So business or products. So biggest flex this last week from those. So maybe you had enough energy from the products to clean your house and like organize a part of your house that you've been putting off, right? Like maybe you've been putting off like going through your clothes and organizing your closet. That was me. I just did it yesterday, right? Thank you. Thank you, little black patch. Maybe your biggest flex was you got to go to the grocery store and you didn't have to put your groceries on a credit card. You got to pay cash. You got to swipe your debit card. Maybe you were super consistent with like your self-development this week and you just noticed like a huge change in your mindset and just how your days played out. Okay, so I want you to think back to this last week and what was something that you're super proud of? What is something that was one of your biggest flexes? All right, there's the timer on that one. And I actually just took a picture of what Jessica shared in the chat because I plan on sharing that in my stories because I think that that is so powerful and it shows you just how much can change in like such a short amount of time. So Jessica, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. That's awesome. Okay, so moving on, what has this community done for you? So maybe it's provided friendships with people that were strangers, right? Like I know for me, I've gained a lot of like lifelong friends and just people in general that I didn't know I needed. I didn't know that I needed this community until I was in it and I got around like-minded women and women who were talking about just like their dreams and positive things and they weren't constantly like they're not talking down on people, you know what I mean? Like you guys know it, when you change your circle of friends you can change your life, and that's what I found here, and I didn't even know that was like a thing prior to this. Maybe it has helped you step out of your comfort zone or encouraged you to chase your dreams. Maybe you feel like you belong somewhere now, like right, like maybe you grow up and this would be a great story to tell if this is you. But maybe like growing up, you always just kind of felt like an outsider. You never really had a lot of friends. You didn't feel like you necessarily belonged anywhere. And you know what I mean? Like maybe now you have a sense of belonging. So what has this community done for you? And I am loving, you guys. I'm actually going to go through, and this is a really good story opportunity. You guys pay attention to the chat. People are sharing things from like their biggest flex and stuff. It's a really good story opportunity to kind of go through and either take like a picture or a video or a boomerang of what people are putting in the comments and share that to your stories. Okay. All right. Next, this is one of those finish the sentences. Okay. So I'm just going to give you the sentence and wherever you want to run with it, in whatever way you want to run with it, run with it. Okay. So the sentence is don't wait until. All right, there goes the timer on that one. So we've got two more left, but you guys, we're going to switch up how we do these last two just a little bit because, and again, you're going to hear a lot about pain points and a lot about like lifestyle posts. And really, like I said, just getting back to sharing your story and sharing you. I feel like, and I'm guilty of this too, I feel like, and actually, I want to see in the comments, just drop like a yeah or something. How many of you feel like you get lost in Thrive? Like you feel like you kind of have become like a walking, talking, like billboard commercial. Like that's all you talk about. Okay. See, so many of you. So part of the pivot that we're going to make is like I said, we're going to tell our stories and we're going to share ourselves. Okay. So for these next two, I want you guys to do some lifestyle posts. Okay. So I want you to pull out your fives list. Okay. Your branding five. What makes you you? And I'm going to set a timer. We'll do it for like 7 minutes. Okay. Two different lifestyle posts. I'm going to give you just some ideas that Christina had sent me. Okay. So if you're a mom, something that you can do is like, what snacks did your kids love this week? Okay. Share like a snack or like a snack hack. I've seen people share like, how I mean, you've seen like the baskets that they do where they put all of their snacks for the day in that basket. Maybe you do something like that. Or like you just created this new system for snacks, or maybe you created like a chore chart or just something. What is something around being a mom that you can share with other moms that is going to be beneficial to them, that's going to serve them and impact them or help them or inspire them in some way? Okay. And then you can just share like a simple picture of you and your kids for that. Home decor. If you're into home decor, maybe a lot of people are starting to shop for like fall decor. So maybe share like a picture of your table and, ask your audience, like, where are you going to be shopping for fall decor this year? This is where I typically shop, et cetera, et cetera. For me, like we're hanging a brand new accent wall. So immediately off the top of my head, I know that it's going to be done this week and I can share it and I can get advice. Maybe I can share tips about like how we hung it or how we did it or how we like saved money on buying it, all of the materials, something like that. Maybe family is one of your fives. Okay, what's summer's coming to an end, our kids are going back to school, what was your favorite summer memory? And then ask your audience like what theirs was. You guys can make these. Do you see how you can make these like what's the word I'm looking for? Not interactive, but engagement. We can make these engagement posts. We're sharing who we are. And then it's giving us an opportunity to get to know our audience, which is how we build those connections, which is how we build a business. You guys, people will start to like, know, and trust you. They're going to buy you before they buy your product, before they buy your business. And this is the best way that you can do that. If you're into like fashion or hair or makeup, maybe you can share like a makeup tutorial, or you can share like your outfit of the day and tell people like where you got those items, what the vibe is that you're going for. Ask people where their favorite place to shop is. Stuff like that. Like for moms, there's so much that you can share around that. So pull out your fives list, two lifestyle posts, and I'll set a timer. What is it? It's 10 o'clock. What do you think? Like 7 minutes, Christina? Will that be enough time? Okay. All right. So let's do that. You guys, I want to share something too while you're doing this. And the thing is people aren't going to follow you. They're not going to watch you. They're not going to interact with you because you sell Thrive, right? Like when people come across your account, they're not like, ooh, she sells Thrive, let me follow her. They follow you because you put something out that inspires them or catches their attention or something that they relate to. So when you're that's why, like I said, I want to get back to truly sharing who we are, because there are so many people on the internet, you guys, who are in network marketing, who are trying to sell things to people. And there are a lot of people who are selling the same product as you. You have to be able to stand out above the rest of them. And the only way that you're going to do that is by sharing just who you are and finding your people through that. And so I really truly think, Christina and I have talked so much about this. I really truly think that this has been the missing piece to the puzzle for a lot of us. Okay, we were just getting lost in Thrive and we forgot to share who we are and share our stories. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there as like a reminder that it really is, think about who you joined. Like you didn't join them because they were posting like the science behind the products, or you didn't join them because you could maybe occasionally like travel for free a couple of times a year. I mean, maybe that was like a cool like perk, but you followed them and you chose them as your person for some reason other than Thrive, right? You related to them some way, somehow. And so when you're creating your content, you want to speak to people who are going to have things in common with you, who are going to relate to you, that you can help. All right, that about wraps up the batching portion of this, you guys. So now you have at least 5 different things batched, or as we always say, like we know we don't expect you guys to finish it all right now. So you have like bullet points or like a rough draft. You've brain dumped, you've got something down to run with this week. So now I'm going to pass it off to you, Christina, to kind of walk us through plugging that into our planner and coming up with a plan.
All right, guys. So this is, I think like Rochelle and I were talking about, I'm so excited. I don't know about how you guys feel about this last batching, but I felt like some of y'all were really getting into your pain points already, like really getting a little bit deeper. And I'm really excited for the lifestyle posts. I don't know about you, but those last 2 were super easy for me to write from. So if you ever find like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to write about me, then it's time to sit with yourself and really say, who am I, right? Like, who am I? And share that with people. People are going to interact with you, like we said, because of who you are. So planning and putting those in, you guys, I am going to kind of break up where I have like Thrive, lifestyle, thrive, lifestyle, thrive, right? So this way my week isn't just thrive, 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 lifestyle, lifestyle, right? I want people to kind of be like, ooh, thrive. And then, oh, there she is. Ooh, thrive. Oh, well, there she is. And we're talking your news feed, right? You guys, because in your stories, you already know you're going to be thrive and you're going to be personal too, right? So even the 80% 20 or 80-20, if you want to do it that way in your stories, 80% you, 20% thrive. I'm doing the E60 journey. So even though like I'm sharing my walks and I'm sharing my book and I'm sharing those types of things, that is really thrive because I'm doing the E60, but whatever, people are following along, they're getting inspired and they're getting excited. So a couple things when it comes to your week, you guys, I want you right now to, first of all, you guys, I see so many people asking in the chat when the work with me times are. So many people in the chat always asking, when are the work with me times? Y'all, you should have them in your planner, right? We all know, go to Limitless, go to Lionhearted, go to whatever your team page is, go to the top and you will see all of the work with me's, right? So be your own like advocate for finding those types of things and put them in your planner so you show up. Right. I went on the Tuesday night work with me, y'all. I left that thing laughing, feeling so fired up. It was like, I got to hang out with my friends. You guys, it was honestly so fun for me. That was the only one that I was able to hop on with my schedule, the way things were this week, but still, right? Get on them. I will be the first to say, I love work with me's. Make them a priority, right? Make them a priority. So first and foremost with our planner right now, I want you guys to go look at your work with me schedule, look at the schedule, plug in which ones you're going to get onto. You should have already done this, but in case you haven't, we're going to mute for a few minutes and do that. I want you to pick what focused IPA you're going to do this week. So your focused IPA, some of y'all might just run through your normal IPAs and do them sporadic throughout your day. Perfect. Some of y'all do a full round in the morning and then you need to pick one. So you're not trying to do full round after full round after full round. So different focused IPAs can be adding to your networks, 3-2-1s, interactions, cleaning up your network. You guys, don't be afraid to have the same one for the entire week too. There was a couple weeks where that's all I was doing was 3-2-1 cleaning up. I hated my network. I hated what I was seeing. And hate is a very strong word, but it was. I would literally get on there and cringe at having to do my IPAs because I don't know where I got on this follow thing. I was following a bunch of people that I did not even vibe with. And here's the thing, you guys are going to change as well. Right? You're going to change. You're going to grow. You're going to go through things. You're going to be like, oh, these people just aren't my people anymore. Go find your people. But I also was cleaning up before I was trying to add a bunch of new people because I'm type A personality. So I have to have things a little bit clean and organized because that's just the way I roll. So I'm going to go ahead and mute myself. I want you guys to plug in your work with me times. I want you to pick your focused IPA. And in these next few minutes too, I'll mute myself for about 5 minutes. I want you guys to do a little social media audit. And one of the things I want you to do is I want you to go into your Instagram because most of y'all should have your Instagram stories linked to your Facebook, right? So we're all linking. So I want you to go to your home on your Instagram. I want you to go to your archive. And I want you to look through and scroll this last week. Mine's loading because my husband is on the internet, like we're probably watching TikTok and the computer and everything. So it'll load in a minute. I got to get off of our Wi-Fi. But I want you to load your stories for the week. And I want you to scroll and see what went down in your stories this week, right? Were you all thrive? Did you not share thrive? Did you not share yourself? How did your stories look? Did you feel good about what was in your stories? Do you want to repeat that, right? Because we're going to plan that next. So I'm going to go ahead and mute myself. Let's do those few things with our planner. This is what it'll look like when you actually can see it. I just had to get off of our Wi-Fi. So I can see what calls to actions I did. I can see how many times I posted about this, the sale that we have, the promo that we have. I can see how much I talked about my E60 journey. I can really self-audit. you guys. And I think that's going to help a lot of you to know what's going down, and so that you can adjust this week and see where you need to grow and add things. Okay, so we're going to wrap that up, you guys. And those are things you can always look back at too, right? So when we jump off of this, like how Rochelle said, we kind of get you guys started. And then you might have to come back to it, right? So one thing that I wanted to show you guys is my planner, because I was talking to Lindsay about this. I've said it to Rochelle too, but I track everything in my planner. So you guys can see my planner is like written in every single day. I got check mark boxes and I have everything laid out. So what does that mean? Like my social media, I have everything broken up. It says social media, stories, and I don't call things IPAs. I call them whatever I want. So one day it's called Get It Done. One day it's called You Got This. One day it's called Let's Go. One day it's called Chase Your Goals. One day it's called Your Dreams Are Close. I don't call them income producing activities anymore. I changed the name of it and it helped me. Right? Some of y'all need to do that. I've said it before. This was actually brought up in the work with me that some of the people actually changed the way they were calling it, and that changed things for them. I heard it on a podcast. It was Bob Heilig or whatever. And he said, some of y'all are calling it income producing activities. And the more you do them, you're not seeing the income that you want. So your brain is immediately starting to have like a resistance to them because it's not seeing the income that you know what I'm saying? So change it up. Daily method of operations, growth oriented, whatever actions, whatever it's called. Okay. Yep. Love on your people, make new friends, talk to your friends, call it whatever you want, you guys. You literally, when those IPAs, I'm doing IPAs every single day, but I just call them something different. And that's what works for me. And when I had that switch for myself, I started having fun again with them. It was like somebody introduced a brand new thing to me, but guess what? It wasn't. It was the same thing. Some of y'all need to do that, right? So I have it broken up social media, and I write down my social media so I know what I'm posting about, and I make sure that I'm posting on all of my platforms. I have stories. So this is just kind of giving you guys some ideas, because I think sometimes y'all need a little, like, want to know more of how it's going down. So I have stories, and then I write down everything, all the IPs that need to be done in my stories, right? Products in my stories, talking about the opportunity. I write down, every day looks a little different for my stories. So I'm actually game planning my stories. If I'm going to talk about the E60 plus trial packs, I'm going to put that E60 plus trial packs. I put life. What do I want to talk about with life? Right. So I'll put like life, and then I'll put Hercules, and maybe I'll talk about Hercules. I'm just kind of making stuff up. And then I always put chit chat, so that my friends are getting me, and they're getting me just for me, just chit chatting about it. One day I had in my stories talk the opportunity and offer a trial pack, so that if people are looking to join the business, but they're like, I don't even know what I'd be selling. Hey, if you've been looking to actually like join and lock arms with me, and you're like, but I don't even know what this is about, let me get you on a trial pack, because you're going to fall in love with the products. I'm going to show you how easy it is to share this. When's the last time you offered your potential promoters trial packs? Guilty. Right? Guilty. Show the opportunity. What do I mean by show the opportunity? I was out doing life. So I was making sure that I was showing them on a Tuesday. I was sitting in my driveway at 1 o'clock reading a book. I didn't have to say, thank you, opportunity, because people are going to be like, wait a minute, how is she just sitting there? How is she going to the grocery store? Like, I went to the grocery store 2 times in one day during the middle of the day. I shared that. Why? Because you guys, they're smart enough to say, well, how is she going to the grocery store? Right? Some of y'all need to show what this opportunity is doing for you. Being with your family, being with your significant other, doing that type. Auto bonus. When's the last time you shared about the auto bonus? I'm guilty, right? So these are things, you guys, when I write down my stories, I write down like how I want my stories to lay out. If I want to ask questions, I ask questions. So like I want to ask how everybody weekend went tomorrow. So my morning slides tomorrow, I already know are going to be asking about people's weekends. So I'm going to do like cute ones tonight. I'm going to get them prepped. So when my first things that hit are not going to be my products. My first things that hit are going to be asking my network about their weekend. Did you work this weekend? Yes, no. Did you have fun with your family? Yes. Went on an adventure? No. Sat home and chilled. I don't know. Come up with your own things, right? Put a poll box, put a quiz, put whatever you want. So I also lay out when my trials are going in there and how I want my trials to look. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, for me personally, I offer trials. Every single week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Why? Because it's tea and trials go with the tea. So that's how I remember it. So I make sure on Tuesdays and Thursdays, my trial packs are going up. And I'll either do before and afters with my trial packs, my before and after with my trial packs, or I'll talk about the products with my trial pack. But I decide that right now, right? So I know sometimes I can talk a lot, you guys, but just so you can go ahead and know, right, your struggle, your pain points. What do you want to talk about this week in your stories, right? Get face to face with them and say like, hey, I used to like, I'm going to use Rochelle, for example, when she says like my kids, I used to like want a nap. So I would put on a show, right? So she could be outside with her kids having fun, riding bikes, and say, I used to need a nap and I would miss out on moments like this. That was a struggle for her, right? That's a pain point. So look at your pain points and decide what pain points do you want to talk about this week in your stories. It doesn't have to coincide with what's always going on your actual feed, what we just planned out. You can have different things in your stories, because you guys got to remember what you're bringing them in. You're bringing them in from your newsfeed. You're bringing them in from your reels. Do y'all ever check your analytics? Because if you don't, I want you to, right? My story views, I don't get a ton of story views, right? I get maybe more than some, I get a lot less than others, right? So I know that what I'm saying in all my different areas, all different people are seeing it at all different times. I had reels that blew up, you guys, like got like, for me, blew up like 15, 20, 30,000 views. Guess what? My story views didn't go crazy. My profile clicks did, but my story views didn't go crazy. throughout that time. So guess what? They're watching my newsfeed. They might not be watching my stories. Everybody is going to be so different, you guys. So it's okay to have different things going on in different areas of your business. So I'm going to go ahead and mute myself for the next little bit. So go ahead, look at your week, drop in what we just batched. When are you going to put those out? Do you want it to be a live? Do you want it to be a reel? Do you want it to be a post? Decide that right now. What days do you want to talk about trial packs? What pain points do you want to talk about this week? Do you want to offer a sale, right? The sale ends this month or this today ends today. So this week, do you want to have a sale or something like that with your credits? Decide that right now. We already did our focused IPA. We already know what Zooms we're going to. So right now, dig into your week, you guys. Okay. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. I'm going to read this out loud just because Rochelle made a great point. So also schedule your background work. When are you planning customer appreciation, personal promos, batching reels, photos, loving on your team, etc. So when I do my get it done, you got this, let's go, those style of things, a lot of those are my extra background works because I already know my full round of IPAs are non-negotiables, right? I get those done. I sit down, boop, 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 done. And then the rest of the day, I pick like anywhere from, normally it's about 5 extra things that I'm doing for my business. And it can be as simple as one thing can be follow up with Jennifer. That's one of the things that takes me 2 minutes, right? One of the things can say track sample shipping. Go in my back office. I'm sorry, my computer's blowing up. I don't know how to turn off sounds. I don't know how to do all this stuff. So some of those things just like that, right? One of the things was clean up my potential list. So guess what, you guys? I was literally eating lunch one day and I was rewriting my potential list because it was a hot mess express. So those are just some background things. Creating fresh story content, right? I did a post today. My biggest flex, you guys, was actually a story that I did last week. So my biggest flex about being able to spend $12 on groceries. If you guys followed my stories last week, that was when I had grapes and it was a very bad experience. Andrea knows. It's terrible. It was very bad. But anyways, we're not going to go there. I'm kind of getting over it. But I wrote about that. And so this week when I was telling Rochelle about like my biggest flex, I was like, I need to make that a post because that is a huge flex. $12 might not seem like much to some, but to me, not having to put $12 on a credit card is a huge flex. Some of y'all discount some of those little things. And I shared it in my stories last week. And this week it's going to be a post or a reel. Why? Because different people see it different places. So when you're looking back in your archive, look through things that happened. Maybe you'll notice, oh my gosh, I was playing with my kids. That was such a fun time. Now you know you can go create a story content or a reel about that. Yeah, mini vlog reels doing my routine. I get a good amount of views. People like mini vlogs. Yes, they do. They do like mini vlogs. Absolutely. If you guys have any tips or anything that's working for you, as always, drop them in the chat because that is how we all grow and become better. Okay, just some last minute things, you guys, and then we'll wrap it up. Make sure you write your goals down. You should already have them written down, but write them down. I think it was Rochelle said it on her samples, how many samples she wants for the month. She kind of lets the universe know. You guys, I had gotten into the habit, then it's easy to fall out of the habit. Last week, I wrote down that I wanted to get out 5 trials. I will tell you guys that it got to the end of the week, and guess how many trial packs I had? None. But I kept looking at that 5 because I write them down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I kept looking at that and I was like, they're coming. Those names are coming. Guess what? I have 2 that already went out, 2 that I'm in communication with, and they're still today. So I believe that I'm going to get that 5th one. Right. And it's okay if you don't get it. Right. Because I've had many weeks where I just flip the page and that's okay. And the next week, maybe you'll get 10. You never know. You never know. So if you guys have any questions, drop them below. But this week, couple of things that help me and maybe will help you. At the end of every night, I close out my day for my business. So I will look at my calendar. I put my check marks off. I write what I need to do for the next day. Like Rochelle said, background work, anything, if I need to follow up with somebody, anything like that, any little thing, you guys, any little thing I write down. I don't leave it to my brain to remember. There's too much going on in the world. So I write it down. I get my planner completely ready for the next day. Everything is written out. So I start every day is clean. And at night, I write everything down. I mark everything off. I look through my phone. I decide what's going down. I look at my planner because I've already decided what days I'm doing trial packs, what I want to talk about, so on and so forth. And then I know tomorrow when I wake up, I already have an idea of what's going down, right? So I'm never in like reaction mode. Like, oh my gosh, I got to post, or oh my gosh, I got to do this. I'm always one step ahead. So your planning doesn't end right now when we're on this planning Zoom, because you're going to go scroll reels and save some sounds for when you're going to create content. You're going to go and look at other thrivers and say, oh my gosh, I like that photo. I like the way that she presented that, or her shake, or her DFT, or anything like that. I want to recreate that photo, save it, write it down, recreate photo, screenshot it, put it in a recreate folder. I have photo.
Go. No, go. You
No.
finish. No, you're on a roll. You finish.
Okay. Last thing. I have folders, you guys, that say recreate. So if I see somebody's stories that I like, the idea of it, screenshot goes into recreate. If I like the way that somebody presented something, like Rochelle's really good about how she presents her products, which I'm trying to work on that because I'm like terrible at that. So I will screenshot her being like bougie in her photo, like looking all hot, and I'm like recreate. And then I put that in the recreate folder. So throughout my week, I'm looking at that recreate. So when I sit down to create stories, sometimes I'm not in a creation mode. I go and I'm like, if I'm finally look good, I'm like, oh yeah, I have pictures that I wanted to recreate, instead of just sitting here like, well, what do I just sit on my couch? Do I do that again? No, I go and recreate that. So that's my last minute tip.
First of all, I want to know where you get looking at my stories and see anything hot about this in the morning, but thank you for that compliment. Second, the idea with planning, you guys, is you want to get so specific. Like, I don't want you to just put, like one day story content, like create story content. You should be putting create story content, but then like, what are you creating story content on? Are you creating it around like the products? Like maybe you're going to talk about all 3 steps and what they do. Are you going to talk specifically into the energy or into the appetite control? Are you going to talk into the business? Okay, but like what part of the business? Get so specific, because I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. It's so easy to sit down and tell ourselves like, I'm going to work, like I'm going to block off time, I'm going to work right now. But then how many of you do that? And then you catch yourself however many minutes later and you're scrolling, or you're doing like busy work and you're not actually getting anything productive done. Because I know that I'm so guilty of that. I'm nearly 3 years in, and this is something that as of like recently, I've had to call myself out on and start getting like so intentional with what I'm doing. Because I didn't get into this, and I'm sure none of you did either, to be on my phone 24/7, right? Like I got into this for the freedom to just live in the moment and be present with my husband and my kids. And I was finding that I wasn't planning and I wasn't getting like super specific with my planning. So I was on my phone a lot more than I needed to be, and I wasn't actually working. So the more specific that you can get with your planner, you guys, the less that you're going to have to be on your phone and the more productive you're going to be. And when you're intentional and you're more productive, you're actually going to find that things are going to start happening easier and faster for you, right? Like no matter how many times you open your DMs, if you didn't put new content out, if you didn't do anything different, there's not going to be a DM asking about your products or about your business, right? Like that's busy work. So I just wanted to say, like, get as specific as you can. It's going to change the time that you spend on your phone and how things start to play out for you in your business. So sorry, I just wanted to add that. But I think we're good. You're good on your end? We're good to close this? Okay. All right, well, thank you guys for joining us. Like we said, next weekend is going to be pretty different, but we're super, super excited. And we really do think that this is going to be the missing link for a lot of you. So spend this next week researching like pain points, watching, like somebody said, Matt and Hasey have a training. I know there's podcasts on it. I think we might come out with something like updated as well. Dig deep, figure out what your pain points are so that on Sunday we can dive right into those. We will get this recording up as soon as we can. Share it with your teams for anyone who may have missed it. Let them know they're going to want to be on next Sunday. And we hope that you all have a good, productive week, and we will chat with you guys later. Bye, guys.